Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, for another YouTube video. Allincrypto here, and today we are going to be revisiting and looking at where we are currently at in relation to our Cardano price prediction for 2024. We are very close to breaking out of what you may be asking, certainly if you haven't watched my previous videos as it relates to Cardano's price. We're going to be showing you that in this one, updating you with how things are progressing. They are progressing in the right direction, but we're still to see the breakout. We have seen breakouts on many of the other coins that we've given price predictions for, that are all setting up in a similar fashion to where Cardano is, but Cardano is still yet to break out. But we're close, and we're going to be taking a look at that in this video. We're also going to be taking a look at a number of exchange traded products that also give us reason and confluence to be bullish on Cardano. You know, if they're set to go up and we have higher targets, and many of these have triggered the patterns that we've been looking at for them that have now given us higher targets. If these are heading on to higher ground, it's a product based on Cardano and we've got higher upside for that, gives us a good kind of compounding factor in regards to our suspicion that Cardano is about to trigger this inverse head and shoulders and make its way towards $2. It doesn't have to stop there, but it might. What I want to do though first is actually go and play a very quick clip from Cardano with Paul. He recently interviewed Charles Hoskinson, and Charles Hoskinson kind of gave a bit of an overview in regards to what Cardano is and compares it to a tank versus a Lamborghini. But let's go ahead and play that clip. Then we're going to be updating you on our price prediction, where we're at, and what we think is to come.
Cardano was built like a tank. It was built always to run 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, years and years and years now. Tanks are a little slower than Lamborghinis, but damn, you want to be in a tank instead of a Lamborghini if you're in a war zone, okay? And the problem with cryptocurrency is it's a war zone. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, people try and break you, either on purpose or inadvertently through their own incompetence. They submit transactions. They submit crazy smart contracts that, if they are malformed, destroy your network. They're all the time manipulating their nodes and changing the source code of them to try to break the protocol. Their network configurations sometimes replicate DDoS style patterns, these types of things. It's a war zone, a cryptocurrency. And if you design for it, it doesn't break and you survive, and your high assurance traffic is safe and secure. If you design for speed, you're rolling the dice every time you get in the car, because as you go in the war zone, something's going to shoot you. Maybe it's the sniper. Maybe it's the landmine. Maybe the road is blocked and you can't go over it. Have you ever tried to drive a Lamborghini over a big pothole or something like that? Tank goes right through. You see, and that's the nature of these types of things. And so why research takes a huge amount of time is what research is doing is actually figuring out how to put a bigger engine, a more efficient engine, and make the tank perhaps just as strong but a little lighter, so you can go 50% or 100% faster. Well, here's what we did with Leos. We found out how to have a tank but drive it as fast as a Lamborghini. It's the single biggest innovation in protocol design in our industry. 4 years, because that's what you have to pay to have that. So that's another thing people don't understand. Research moves trade-offs. That's why you love it, but you have to spend the price to go through it. We did it with Ouroboros, and suddenly we have liquid non-custodial staking and 50% Byzantine resistance. I was at QSIG with the Ethereum Foundation. Their head researcher was sitting like 10 feet away from me, and he goes up there and be like, well, if we have these quantum signatures, we can have 50% Byzantine resistance and liquid staking. I was like, dude, you don't need a quantum computer, believe it or not, to have that. It's okay. There's somebody else who has this, okay? But the problem is they don't believe the research we've done, and they can't admit it, and they have different trade-offs that they've embraced. They can't move in a Cardano-style direction. We started there because years and years before even the protocol turned on, there were well-trained scientists sitting in a lab thinking about it for a long time, going through peer review, and they did the homework. So we get there alive, we get there strong, but we can't ever look outside the tank window at the Lamborghini and say, God, why can't we be like that? Because 9 times out of 10 over the long run, they're dead and we're still there. And we have a much better vehicle at the end of the day.
So Cardano have taken a peer-reviewed approach, which means they kind of study things before they actually ship them. And this is why we haven't seen any downtime on Cardano thus far. Most other blockchains, or I shouldn't say most, some of the blockchains certainly can't say that. I don't know whether that was specifically directed at Solana using the kind of Lamborghini analogy versus a tank. I'm unsure. I can't say it is. He certainly didn't mention it by name, but perhaps it may be. And remember, we do actually think Solana will do well. And hopefully they fix some of the issues they have in regards to downtime. But Cardano is working. It works. But I do think that Cardano, actually, this peer-reviewed approach, we've often compared Cardano to the tortoise against the hare. We all know how that story ended. Perhaps Cardano has a similar fate. We actually did a video where we looked at the fact that some of the largest ETF, Bitcoin ETF, facilitators, Bitwise, 21 Shares, and of course Grayscale, which is the largest, also offer Cardano products. And actually there's going to be a kind of diversification into the crypto space, probably based on the top 10, and these products potentially, if they get converted to ETFs, and Cardano may do very well as a result of that. Let's talk about our price prediction now, just a little bit of a fundamental one. Do go and give Paul a follow. We'll leave a link to that full interview in the description. It was a fantastic interview. Massive well done to Paul for that. He's a great guy to follow. We aren't Cardano specific. Cardano is just one of my holdings. I hold nearly 20 different cryptocurrencies. If you want to unlock my portfolio, do consider becoming a Patreon. We are filling up very, very fast. But let's talk about our price prediction now. And let's start by looking at the video that we gave nearly 8 weeks ago now, where we actually outlined the price prediction and the technical path that we thought Cardano may take. And you can see we're identifying an inverse head and shoulders, which is a pattern that we have had huge success for, not just in the cryptocurrency markets, but the broader markets. In fact, we were very accurate on the stock market and where it's currently at. S&P target that was based on an inverse head and shoulders got hit actually only a couple of weeks ago, and it's gone on to put a new all-time high since then. So we did give a $2 price prediction for Cardano, but it can definitely go higher than that, certainly if we interact with that sort of $1.16 range and we set up a broader head and shoulders. And this is typically how markets move up and down. But you can see we were around about the 50 cent range. Today we are currently at 61 cent, and you can see how this is progressing. Now, we are yet to see the break of this pattern triggering it. However, it's coming. Now, whether it comes from this point here and you just smash through it and we need to see it on volume similar to what we saw with H-bar a couple of days ago, or whether it does something similar to what Injective did. So this was our kind of schematic double bottom style, you know, Cardano's similar double bottom into a head and shoulders. Very similar schematic here. And of course, this is a 3 daily. This is a daily. So let's drop down the time frames. But whether Cardano wants to do something like this and doesn't get through the right shoulder on the second approach is still to be seen. I wouldn't mind that because it would actually set up a better trading opportunity. But the important point here with this pattern and it being invalidated is that you don't run this low down here. So if we trigger, you're looking at a $2 price Cardano, whether it wants to interact with the sort of $1.20 range and set up a broader head and shoulders, kind of like what we've got with Bitcoin at the moment, just to show you that very, very quickly. You can see you typically go up and down in a sort of head and shoulder S pattern. It's kind of like what you used to draw on the whiteboard when you were at school. Well, certainly I did. We'll see. We're just waiting for Cardano to break. As long as we don't invalidate this low and as long as we take this resistance level, we may want to take a little bit more of a wind up before we actually do that. We may just do it here, still to be seen. There's a number of other things that do make us bullish on Cardano. One of them, of course, is 21 Shares Cardano ETP, which stands for Exchange Traded Product. This is traded in Europe, and it's on the Euronext market. You can see, again, this is kind of what we're looking at for Cardano. This is a double bottom break on volume, which you always want to see on the break up. You don't need to see it on the breakdown because things can sort of break down on low volume, and often it's the reason for it. Not only did you get the break, you got the retest. We do now think this is on the road to a higher price target. So there's round about a 32% gain to be had here. If this is going to go up and this is a product that's derived from Cardano, it's just Cardano is going to do quite well. And also you've got Bitwise's top 10 crypto index fund. Of course, Cardano is a part of this. And you can see not only did you get the break on volume, you also got the retest. And we do now think this is going to go higher. So this ultimately is going to translate, in my opinion, to Cardano doing well. We are just right now waiting for the break. It will come. You know when you're invalidated, and it's just a case of watching and waiting. And unfortunately, you do have a lot of time on your hands as an investor. And we don't recommend that people try and trade the cryptocurrency markets day to day, certainly on leverage. In my experience, most people will lose money doing that. I think if you can understand the trend, understand these bigger sort of macro patterns, and get on board and positioned for them, you're going to do far better and outpeat your peers in regards to trying to trade the market intraday or daily, day trading it, or even on the short time frames with leverage. I do think most of you will lose your money because you're competing against people like me who've been trading for years, institutions, and the harsh reality of the game of trading is that 90+% of people, 95 I think percent of people lose money trying to do it. In that 5% that actually make money, you've got some of the biggest institutions in the world, and you've got people who have been trading for years and have a proven track record. You're trying to compete against them. Don't do it. That's not financial advice. Do whatever you want. Just my own opinion. Get on the side of the trend. Get on the bigger time frame patterns. And ultimately make your money in sitting in the move. That's all I've got for you in this video, guys. If you enjoy the content, like us, appreciate it, so as a comment. And I'll catch you all in the next one, hopefully. Thanks for watching.